This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so look at here. Let's talk about paged INS key. Okay, paged INS key is primary key. Paged INS key is primary key. So generally, in general, in databases, what is meant by primary key? Generally, what is primary key?
Null unique.
It is going to have a unique value.
Not
So it will
repeatable.
have a unique value. So that means a record can be in the database. A record can be uniquely identified by primary key. See, you are creating rules. You are creating a work object. How you are identifying work object uniquely? So far,
The work object ID.
by work object ID. Work object ID will get assigned to which property? PYID property. But process commander uniquely identifies anything in Pega by primary key. PYID is not primary key. PYID is class key. You see here, keys class key. This is class key. What is class key for states table that we had already created? What is class key?
State code.
State code. What is class key for cities?
City code.
City code.
City code. Okay, city code. So like that, class keys will be there. So primary keys will be there. Okay, primary key is a unique record, which is a primary key in the backend table. Let me open the table definition once. Let it get open. I will take time and slowly explain you. Listen to me carefully. Okay, look at here on the screen. Service, sorry, what is this? 8.4, right? See, you go to any table in the rule base, our work table or any table. I will show you one OOTP table. I will show you one work table. Okay. Property gets stored into which table? What is the table in which properties are going to get stored?
PZ PV stream.
No, I'm not asking about column, table.
PC underscore.
PC underscore properties.
Well,
Work table, work objects will get stored.
Where?
Properties get stored into PR underscore rule underscore properties. Properties instance of which class? You have this in first day one document. I have told you to read that while I'm telling you about object. Object is instance of work object is instance of work class. Similarly, property is instance of which class? PR4 underscore. Yeah, rule obj property. Here table is PR4 underscore rule underscore property. There should be a table like that. Okay. So that's not the only table. You go to any table, no worries. You go to any table. Let me go to definition of the table. Any table in Pega. Properties. Just it will be a little bit slow. Just hang on. So columns. Just let it get loaded. So here it says not null primary key. A number of columns are there. Which column is primary key column? You see here. What is the name of the column which is primary key? PZ INS key. That is the column which is primary key. Any table you go and see. I'm going to other table. Properties. Columns. Why it is not loading properly? Oh, it has a composite key or what? Column name is primary key PZ INS key. Why it is not loading here? It got stuck actually. But here also you can see what is the column? Primary key column, PZ INS key. It is not loading. That's the only problem. There's no issue other than that. It doesn't have any composite key. Now another table. Let me go to another table. Let's say work table. Properties. What is the column? Instead of refreshing, we can go to constraints to easily find out that. Hey, why it is not coming, man? My system should not be this much slow. Yeah, PGINS key column is primary key. So for every table in Pega, primary key column name. What is the primary key column name for every table in Pega?
PGINS.
PGINS.
PGINS key is the primary key for our for every table in Pega. Now you go to specific work table of our work objects. Geico, right? So PC underscore GIC underscore something. PC underscore HIJ ABCDEFGGH. Geico, this one, right? So here you go. Properties. For our work table also, you see column name. What is the name of the column? What is the name of the column here? Constraints I can directly go. Okay. So here you see PGINS key column. So PGINS key is a primary key column for every table. So let me show you the data in the table. This is the data in the table. So let's go to PGINS key column for work object, specifically work object. So our work objects, PGINS key column value. Let me take the value. This is the value for one of the work objects. So this value, if you see the value, it has two parts. Can you please tell me what are these two parts? Part 1, part 2. What are these two parts?
Class and PYID.
Which class? It's
The
not
work
simply a class.
class.
This is something.
The work
What is that?
class and the PYID.
What do you call a work class?
Framework work class.
Oh, not that. I'm not asking that way. So what is this? What is the definition
Class
of work
group.
object? Yes, class group. What is the other one?
Collection of work.
Second one. Work object ID. So what is the definition of work object? Someone please tell me technical definition which we have already discussed and we have learned. What is the definition of work object?
Instance of class group.
Instance of class group.
Class.
So what is the definition of class group?
Instance class of
work object.
Instance class of work object. So in general, you can say that instance class. After that, space. And what is the second one? Class key. Is it class key or not? That PYID, is it a class key?
Yes.
That is a class key. Everyone clear with this? Instance class space class key. That is about work PGINS key in case of work objects. Okay, everyone clear with this? This will be formed at runtime. So whenever you create a work object, PRPC will generate the PGINS key. It will frame the PGINS key by taking the class group name space PYID value that you in general you call it as instance class space class key. It will frame like this PGINS key and it will store the work object into work table with this primary key. Someone was trying to ask a question. What was that? Okay.
Harsha,
So-
class key is like the primary key, right? I mean,
No. Class key is class key only. Look at here. Definition. This is class key. Class key will be part of primary key. Okay. So here you have PYID column. You see somewhere you should have PYID column. This is PYID column. PJDynasty column is here. So with the combination of instance class and class key, PJDynasty is generated. That is when you create the work object. Make sense?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Harsha.
So property is instance of which class? Someone please respond. Property is instance of which class?
Rule dash obj dash.
Rule obj property. Section?
Rule HTML section.
Rule HTML section. Flow action?
Rule obj flow action.
Rule obj flow action. And what about flow? Flow is instance of which class? Rule obj flow, like that. Okay. So every rule that you create is an instance of some class. Okay. Suppose you open a property. Suppose you wanted to learn this rule is instance of which class. Okay. You don't have knowledge so far. You wanted to know flow is an instance of which class. You go to actions. Any rule you open, view XML. So Control F, PX OBJ class. This property holds the instance class name. PX OBJ class, what it will hold? For your information, it holds PX OBJ class, that is instance class. Property flow is an instance of which class? Okay, rule obj flow. Suppose you just go ahead here. So you don't know about this, right? So let's say you have category. Okay, there is a rule called category under reports. This category rule is an instance of which class? I have asked you. I've asked you what is the instance class of this category rule type. So what is your approach to find out the instance class?
Click on actions, go to XML.
Navigate
On
to action.
actions.
Actions and
XML?
definition. Yes.
Which one you look for?
Yes, object class.
PX OBJ class. Save to library now. Control F I have to, right? PX OBJ. So this is rule dash category class. So you don't have knowledge about which rule type is instance of which class. No worries. Given PRPC environment, you go to actions and then PX OBJ class. If you type, you will get the instance class name. Make sense, everyone?
Yeah, Harsha.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is about instance class of rules. So every rule that you create here in Pega will be an instance of some class. Every rule type here is an instance of one of the classes that you are aware of. Now, I will ask you, so this is a combination of PJDynasty we have discussed, right? So now I will show you some definition here and ask you to frame the PJDynasty. Okay. So consider in our application GIC, this is the organization class. Here I have a property called age. Okay. For this property, I want you to tell me, consider name of the property itself is class key. Consider name of the property is class key. You tell me what is the PJDynasty of this property age. Given name of the property itself is class key. You have to tell me the combination of instance class space class key. Someone please respond. Those who are not working on Pega, please. Someone please respond. Make it fast. The way how we have found for work object, same way you just need to tell me.
GEIC space age.
What is the PJDynasty combination? PJDynasty, what did we learn? PJDynasty is combination of
Instance of
Instance
a
class.
class key.
Instance class space class key. Here you need to consider class key as a property name. Based on that, you just tell me what is the Pjaniski for age. The one-
age.
That is what Pjaniski. You have to
Age only.
frame it right.
GIC space age.
What is GIC here? Is it instance class of property? What is instance class of property? What is the instance class of a property?
It's the organization
OBJ property.
Rule OBJ.
మరి మీరు GIC అని ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నారు? Why are you saying GIC? Rule OBJ
Rule OBJ property.
property space class key. I told you class key itself is name of the rule. So what is going to come next? Age. This is Vijayanaski. So now let's say we have a class GIC hyphen G Geico vehicle. In this class also, can I create age property? Is it possible or not possible?
Yes, possible.
It is possible, right? So now tell me what is the Pjaniski of this property age. I have created one more property in another class. What is the Pjaniski?
Same.
It will be same. Is it okay if you have same Pjaniski for two different properties in two different classes? Is it okay?
No.
No, right? Primary key should not be duplicated.
Yes.
So combination of two parameters, that is instance class space class key, is okay for work objects, but it is not okay in case of rules. In case of rules, a rule can be with same name rule can be available in multiple classes. Now I will add one more parameter, that is for rules Pjaniski is instance class rule class. What do you mean by rule class? The class in which the rule is created. This is additional parameter. So now you tell me Pjaniski of this one, first one, rule of the property space. After that,
GIC.
GEIC hyphen age. Second one, can you tell me? Second one, what is the Pjaniski?
GIC.
GIC dash.
Second one.
GIC dash. Geico vehicle.
Now, is it hyphen? So is it making the Pjaniski value unique for these two properties?
Yes.
Each of them?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So now this age property here is there in rule set version 1. Can I have the same property in the same class with version 2? Is it possible or not possible?
Yes.
So now if you have age property in the same class with two versions, this Pjaniski is it okay? This Pjaniski is going to solve us the problem of having the unique value? It is not going to solve because age property in the same class is there twice in two different versions. So this Pjaniski is for which one? Version 1 or version 2? So it is not solving again. So we need additional parameter of one more parameter, px create date type. This will also be added. So now with this Pjaniski value will be unique. For sure, it will be unique. The create date time value will be added. So Pjaniski for work object is only two parameters. What are those two? Please respond. What are those two parameters?
Instance class and class key.
Instance class and class key. The same Pjaniski in case of rules is combination of four parameters. That's how PRPC is generating. What are those four?
Instance class, rule class, class key, and
Instance class,
create date
rule
type.
class, class key, px create date type. So now my question is, why we need Pjaniski? What is the purpose of Pjaniski? What is the purpose of Pjaniski? So every rule that we create, everything that we create in Pega will get stored into backend. So everything that while getting stored into backend should be uniquely identified. uniquely identify each one, PRPC generates a primary key that will be held by OOTB property PZ-INS key. So what did you learn today about PZ-INS key? You have gained the knowledge about how Pega rules process commander is maintaining the records in the backend with unique values based on its primary key, and what is the formation of primary key. How PRPC is forming this primary key. This is what you had learned today. Really. Okay, so let's go ahead and proceed forward further to understand about locking mechanism furthermore. Okay, we can see locking. See, when do you need to acquire the lock? That is my question. When do you have to, what is the need of acquiring lock? Someone please respond. What is the need of acquiring lock?
So that if one operator is doing some activities on that work object, the other operator should not be able to do the same thing on the work object. I mean, one work object
cannot work on one work object.
So to prevent data inconsistency. Data inconsistency. See, means one operator is updating something, other operator should not be updating the same. If updates data in, so you need to acquire lock. Acquiring lock, other people will not be able to update it. Right? So now if you go to obj open method and obj open by handle method, let me open one of the activity and show you. Continuation to locking plus PZ-INS key, both. obj open by handle, two methods. So both of the methods for same purpose, that is fetching one single record from the table. If you want to fetch one record from the table, you can use either obj open or you can use obj open by handle. obj open method uses class key to fetch one record. obj open method is going to use class key to fetch one record, whereas obj open by handle method uses primary key, PZ-INS key, that is also called as instance handle. Instance handle means what? PZ-INS key. So it will use PZ-INS key to fetch a record from the table. Make sense, everyone? obj open method, obj open by handle method. Both methods are used to fetch single record from the table. obj open method is used to fetch one record based on class key. obj open by handle method is used to fetch one record based on what? PZ-INS key, primary key. So both of the methods have something called lock, release on commit. Lock, release on commit. See, if you're using obj open method just to fetch the data, means after fetching you don't want to edit, then you just open it, or you do open by handle. My requirement is like this. I want to open the data onto clipboard, edit the data and save the data back, update the data back to table. Means open, edit, update it back. See, means I'm updating the data. In that case, if you're doing it by activity, you need to use these options of lock, release on commit. So if you use the lock option here, whenever you open the record, it will be locked. So further, you can modify the record. Suppose if I do not have locking, can I modify the record without locking?
No.
You cannot modify the record without locking. You cannot update the record without locking. Suppose if you're not acquiring locking, you cannot update it. Locking only will allow you to update the record, because PRPC makes sure that data consistency has to be maintained. So at the same time, you and other person should not run the activity to open and update the records. Okay, that's the point. So obj open and open by handle methods, it's a single record. If you are using these methods further to update and save the data back to the tables, you need to use lock and release on commit. So what is meant by release on commit? What is meant by release on commit?
Once you commit the changes, then automatically the lock will be released.
Once the changes are committed, automatically lock will be released. So when this activity is executed, when you do open, lock will be acquired. So once the commit is been done, completed, then lock will be released. So when you suppose if I do not choose this option, what may happen?
Till lock will
When you
continue.
Only. It will be in lock mode.
When the commit happens, but lock will not be released.
Lock will not be released. So after you commit, someone else try to update. Will they be able to update or not?
No.
Yes, we can.
Listen to my question carefully. Let me frame it again. Just hang on. No need to hurry. Think and answer. Okay. I have executed OBJ open or open my handle, locked, updated back, and committed, but I did not select this option of release on commit. Okay, my commit is completed. I did not select this. Someone else try to run OBJ open and save and then update. What will happen now for them? So will they be able to update or not? Same record. I mean to say.
They cannot.
They won't be able to update.
They won't be able to update because you did not release the lock. Till how long your lock will be there?
30
30 minutes idle.
30 minutes of idle time, generally. So you make sure always you select this option of release on commit. Everyone clear with this?
Harsha, I have one question. Always I have to click on lock in order to lock that work object
It's
in
not
my
always.
operator.
I have already told that. What did I tell you? When do you have to acquire lock? It is not always. When do you have to acquire lock?
When you want to update something.
Further you are updating it, then only acquire. Suppose I'm simply opening and using it. Do I need to acquire lock? Is it necessary? So I fetched the data of one record from the table. I'm further using it, but I'm not updating back anything. Do I need to acquire lock?
No.
That's why these are not mandatory fields. Okay. Suppose your requirement is you open the record, you have to update the record back with some data changes. Do you need to acquire lock or not?
Yes.
Yes, we need to.
That's how you need to think. Okay. So
Okay.
this is the purpose of locking. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Okay, let's go ahead now and look at furthermore about work objects. Furthermore about OBJ open my handle. OBJ open my handle is used to fetch one single record based on PGINS key. Now look at here. This is the flow. I click on this hyperlink test. It has opened flow rule. From which table this flow rule is been opened? What is the table from which the flow rule? I mean, you can tell me the name of the class which is mapped to table. Flow. Flow will get stored into which class related table?
Rule OBJ flow.
Rule OBJ flow. So when you click on this hyperlink to open this flow, PRPC internally runs activities to fetch flow record from the flow related table. For that, what is the method it will use? OBJ open by handle. What is the method it will use? OBJ open by handle, because it has to identify the rules by primary keys. It will use a method internally OBJ open by handle. The same we are going to learn and work on it. So everyone clear about PGINS key and OBJ open by handle, lock, release on commit. Everyone clear with this? Anyone has any doubts?
So Harsha, you are saying like when we click on release on commit, internally Pega PRPC calls OBJ save?
Release on commit, why you need OBJ save? No, I will talk about OBJ save again. Just wait. Release on commit is lock will be released. What is the meaning of lock will be released? Can someone please tell me technically what is meant by releasing a lock?
OBJ delete will be done from PRSys logs table.
OBJ delete will be done on which table?
PRSys
logs table. It's not OBJ save. OBJ save we have to do again separately. Okay. I will tell you about that OBJ save. Okay. So now look at here. See, these are the work objects which we have. Give me 1 minute. These are the work objects which we have in work table. So now when I click on the class name here, the work objects are displayed here. How many objects? N number of objects. For this, once I click on this, to bring up all the objects from the work table, and display here in the screen. To bring up, first of all, which method in the activity gets executed for this task.
OBJ browse.
OBJ browse, you are aware of. OBJ browse means, is it read only or editable?
It's read only.
OBJ
Read
browse is
only.
read only. So now on click of this, you have browsed the records. So I want to update the record. This first record I want to update. Can I update all records on a single go? Is it possible?
No.
Here on the screen.
No.
One after other only I should update, right? First record I will pick. Okay, I have picked it. So first record, I have picked first record. So now I have opened first record. First work of it I have opened. So in order to open this record, which method of PRPC would have been executed?
OBJ open.
Either
Open
OBJ
by
open or open by handle. Any of this, no worries. No need to think
By
about the
handle.
specific one. Either of these will open the record. Now record come to editable mode or not?
Yes.
Now you have access. I'm editing it. Let's say I'm editing it. After edited, editing means which method for editing? If you consider with activity, compare with activity. Editing what method? Editing means you are adding the data. Which method? Property set. So
Set.
you have browsed it, you have opened first record, and you did a property set on that. You submit. Data will get updated back to table, correct? Submit will execute which method?
OBJ save.
OBJ save method. OBJ save method is executed in order to update the data back, correct? So how many methods combination we had come across now? So in case when we are clicking on this and got the objects and open one of the object and modify the data in that. So what are the methods that got executed? Someone please tell me.
Property set.
OBJ browse.
First, what is the first
OBJ
method? OBJ?
OBJ open.
OBJ browse.
You have got multiple records being read-only format. Next, what is the method?
OBJ open.
OBJ open by hand.
Open. After open, lock is been done or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Lock and then release on commit. Commit after it will be released, right? Okay. Next, after OBJ open, what is the next method?
Property set.
Property set.
What is the next method?
OBJ save.
OBJ save and then commit. Commit up. Okay, commit. Let's go to commit. Lock will be released after commit happens. So combination of all these methods is performing a task of already existing instance data records in the table. You are browsing, opening, modifying, updating it back, and finally committing. In between, you are acquiring lock and release on commit. Okay. Now one record I have updated. So second record, if I want to update, what should I do? I have to open second record also. So record by record I have to open. So I have browsed 10 records, one after other I should open. That means after OBJ browse, these tasks should be, suppose 10 objects. How many times these tasks should be executed? Open, property set, save, commit. How many times?
10 times. 10 times.
10 times. Means we need to keep it inside a loop of how many times? 10 times. 10 times all these steps should be executed once per each object. Browse how many times? Only one time. One time you have browsed 100 objects. Each object by object you are opening and updating. How many times you have to do that same task of open, update, save it back and commit? How many times you have to do?
100 times.
100 times. So is it necessary to have commit executed 100 times or only finally at the end if you execute that is fine?
Finally,
Which one you prefer?
Finally,
At last, after 100 objects are saved, finally you commit it. Till the time this commit happens, where does this 100 objects get stored? Where it will be available?
Defer queue.
In the defer queue. This concept also we have learned. So now, if I have given you a requirement, there is a table where we have 50 records. Okay. You need to write an activity. Already data is there. Okay. Some column. You need to write an activity. Those 50 records, data should be updated for some column. You need to write an activity for this. What are the steps that you do? First, you browse all 50 onto clipboard. So what is the resultant clipboard structure for this? What is the property mode on which the OBJ browse?
PX result.
PX result.
What is the mode I'm asking? What is the mode?
Page list.
Page list mode. So now when you browse, you got list of records. So you need to loop through the list of records one by one, where you open each record, modify the record, save it back. Like this, 50 times these steps should be executed in the loop after OBJ browse, and finally you perform a commit. This is what we are going to do the exercise in the next class tomorrow. Everyone understand what we are going to do?
Yes.
So in this requirement, you got OBJ browse, you got OBJ save, you got commit, you got OBJ open or open by handle. Because we have already used open, we will be learning OBJ open by handle. So in one activity, we are going to see combination of all these methods being used in the next requirement. Everyone clear with this concept? You understand? It is not only for work objects. Any table with given records are already there. If I ask you to update multiple records by writing an activity, what are the steps that you do? You have to do all these steps. Okay, we will be working on this practically. Okay. Okay. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, next further, I will tell you another concept. Okay, this is the activity which we are going to write tomorrow. Before that, the next requirement of OBJ open, the one which we have discussed, depends on one of the topic. That topic also we're going to learn. That is called work object status. Someone with background noise, please mute. So transaction status. In general, transaction status. See, I will ask you a general question today, and tomorrow I will discuss in detail about this. First, generally we'll discuss. So transaction status. You go to an ATM and you're trying to withdraw money from ATM. Okay, that means you are performing a transaction of money withdrawal process. You may do multiple different transactions like deposit money, withdraw money, something like this. Okay, when you try to withdraw money, okay, leave about ATM. Let's say you are trying to take a loan. Loan transaction has been initiated. See, when your loan transaction is being processed, your transaction will be associated with a status. What are the possible statuses in a loan transaction? Let me tell you. Application initiated. This is one status. Application means loan initiated. First status is loan initiated. What is the next status? Someone guess and tell me. It's not needed to be the correct one. Anything which comes into the transaction.
Loan in progress.
In process.
Process.
Approval.
Okay, in progress and loan initiated both are same list. Okay, in progress you say. Okay. What is the next status?
Approve or reject.
Loan approval.
Before approval, what else will be done?
Document
Review.
verification.
Background verification.
Pending verification. Verification completed. What is next?
Approved or reject.
Approved.
Pending approval. So pending approval will turn into approved or let's say rejected. Let's say for example approved. What is the status? Pending disbursement. Okay, money disbursement. So after money is being disbursed, what will happen?
Resolve.
Result completed. Suppose rejected, then what will happen? Result
Rejected.
Rejected.
like this, there will be different statuses associated with at different levels of processing. Is it only for loan processing the status, or any transaction in any business will have status like this? A number of different statuses.
Any business.
Any business, right? Now, what is the purpose of maintaining status like this for a transaction? This is a general question.
So everyone should be in sync or aware about what is the current, what is going on with my request.
Yes. So by the status, we will come to know what has happened, what is happening, what is yet to happen. This is ongoing, you are telling. Suppose business is completed. Business means transactions are done. Okay. 1000 transactions are already done. Okay. Now how I can make use of the status? What purpose I can make use of this?
Auditing, monitoring.
Auditing means you can do reporting. Auditing, how would you be doing? Reporting.
Well,
To generate the reports, in generating the reports, the key role played by status of the transaction. Suppose past 1 month, there were banking transactions which were failed for some reason. So what is the percentage of transactions that were failed past 1 month? How would you know? By generating a report based on the status of the transaction which are failed. So you generate a report. So you in future you work towards finding the cause of those and try to work on reducing the number of failures so that your system will be more better stable. So like this, in the reporting, your work object status, I mean like transaction status, plays a key role. So we will be learning about this status tomorrow, not today. Just I have given you a glance about in general what is meant by status. So today what did we learn? Someone please tell me what are all that we have learned today?
PJ dynasty.
I think we don't have any practical, only theory.
PJ dynasty. OBJ open
PJ
by
We learn about PX, PY,
PX,
PZ.
PJ.
Property, name, prefixes, meaning. Next one we learned about primary key. That is what? PZ INS key, its formation. And then what else we have learned?
OBJ open handle.
Open by
handle
method.
Locking
These are all
system and
locking system. Further we have understood. Already we discussed. Further we understood more about it. And given a requirement of bulk updates of records, what are the steps in the activity? That again we will discuss when we are working on business. So these are the 3 things which Pega is defined with. We just learn what is there in Pega. This is not something new that we have created. Requirements will be created by, implemented by us. This already Pega is having the things of PX, PY, PZ properties and their importance and meaning, primary key, PINS key, and how it is getting formed, and what is the purpose of OBJ open by handle, and the options lock and release on commit we had learned. Okay, makes sense everyone? So for these 3, I will share you document now. So tomorrow I will tell you about work object status. That is what transaction status. Further we can work on that. 578. Okay, tomorrow onwards we have a new batch starting. You can inform any of your friends if they're looking for the same Pega class. September, okay, September 28, 577, right?
578. 578.
I'm sorry. I will change it just time. Huh? Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, OBJ open by handling, both are same behavior, right?
Both are
same behavior, like locking concept and release commit.
Everything is same, but only difference is, one difference is OBJ open uses class key to fetch the record. OBJ open by handle uses primary key. Any rule you open in Pega, process commander opens it by using open by handle using its primary key. Because in case of rules, 2 rules from different classes can have same name or not.
Yes.
So that time is it OBJ open is going to work? It will not work. So OBJ open by handle only will work. PZ key document is there, right? In that also you have property name, prefixes and all. So there is no separate document. It will be there in the same. What else I have to attach?
The primary key, the class.
OBJ open by handle, I think.
Okay.
I think this one. You see, I think this document will have everything. Understanding PZ key will have PX, PY, PZ properties and all. Okay, let me find out if I have another document for the same. I think I don't have. Same document will have complete information. Understanding property name prefixes anyway, you see. Table name prefix is different. Okay, that's it. I think this is the work object locking I have already shared you. Okay, so go through this document. That is fair enough. All the concepts will be there. If anything is missing, let me know. You can wind up for today. We'll continue tomorrow to work on work object status, and then we will come to OBJ open my handle business requirement. Okay, thank you very much.